Hello, Stampers. Welcome back to my studio. This is Deb Valder. I always love having you stop by for some craftiness. And today is another card in our card series for the holidays. Today is just a really beautiful card. It can be used above and beyond the holidays, though. You can use it all winter long. And if you live in the Northeast, you are getting one wicked snowstorm today, and that is where I live. So I just thought this was very fitting for me to sit down and do this card today. I love it. It's got a lot of parts to it, but I'm going to show you some really cool things with a lot of snow making techniques. And I do have a video out there if you want to go and watch it on all different kinds of way to make different kinds of snow. And if you live in the South or Hawaii, you still have friends who live in the Northeast or up where there is some snow. So doing a card like this just warms your heart. So this card right here is pretty darn easy. I'm going to show you some of the things that go into the components of this card, okay? So in our shop, the Teaspoon of Fun, we do have this die right here. It is our lantern die, and it looks like this. So when I make my cards, I always make a lot of them, and I also maximize the paper as much as I can. So what I do is, this is actually one of the layers. Let me just show you what I mean by that. This is one of the layers. So this is my top layer, but my next layer is this black layer right here, and I don't like wasting paper. So what I did was I actually cut out a whole bunch of these little lanterns, and then when you put your top layer on, you're never going to see it, and you have lanterns ready to go for a lot of cards. All right, so I just kind of wanted to show you that. So this is the lantern. The next thing I'm going to show you is this little wreath right here, and I love this die because it comes all as one. A lot of people take and cut their dies apart, but I like to keep it whole so you can just mass produce these. So what I did was, in this particular card, I did it in the dark green, and then I turned around and I did it in the light green, and I made a whole bunch of these. So again, saving paper or using really small scraps of paper to use them up, I did that with these green, and I made a whole bunch of these. Now in the shop, which is really cool, you can get both of these dies as a combo. You can definitely buy them separate, but you can also get them as a combo, and you save a little bit of money. So if you get these, make sure you look for the combo, and you can get them together, like I said. All right, so we're going to be using both of those, and I've already pre-cut those. I'm also going to be using this die right here, and this is my snow scene die. So what I did was I cut out this part right here in our marshmallow fluff cardstock, and then I turned around and I cut it out in our sparkle paper, which is the white iridescent, and that's how I got both of these. But if you just cut it out as an edger die, and you know I'm in love with all of these edger dies, if you cut out this edger die like this is what it looks like. It comes out like that, and you can use it just like this. All right, so there's many things you could do. You can color your trees, you can leave them white, just so much. So this die is also in our shop. I'm going to show you some other cards that we did with the lantern, and this is one right here. I love this card. It is so dainty and so delicate, very fast, very easy. So let me just show you the die that goes along with this piece right here. It is beautiful. It is in our shop. It's just gorgeous. So this is the die right here. And like I said, I love to keep them all together. You can actually cut them apart if you want to. That's totally up to you. I like to leave mine together. It just saves on cutting. So what I do when I cut things out, because I needed this to be white and this to be that green, what I did was I cut out several of them in different colors, and then I can mix and match and use them. So when you cut them out, you get this piece right here. You also get this circle right here, and we're always using these for little borders. And then you get this piece right here. Now I wanted to show you that it does cut out nicely. It is a very intricate die, so you do maybe need a shim. I don't, because what I do when I cut this out, and you've probably seen my video on this if you follow me, because this is one of my biggest hits on YouTube, is I use dryer sheets. So I took my dryer sheet, I laid my cardstock on there, then I laid after I laid my cardstock on there, then I laid my die and I ran it through the Vagabond. And then what happens is when you lift it up, all of the pieces stay onto your, or most of them stay onto your dryer sheet, so you have very little poking to do. And it comes out so delicate and so dainty. So these are the pieces that you have when you cut them out. And you can make something as beautiful as this. Now I want to go through and I want to show you a couple more cards that I've got that use this little lantern. So like I said, I take lanterns and I make them, you know, a dime a dozen. I just take all of my scrap paper and I throw them through there. This is just a black and white class that I did, and I just threw on this lantern along with our little truck right there. Looks absolutely adorable. And then I did, you could take a lantern, let me just show you. You could take a lantern and stick it anywhere that you want. You can take and put it on this little guy right here. I just love the way it looks. It just looks so adorable. Okay, so you can do it on that one. You can take and you can put it on this little truck right here. Do you see how it makes it, I always put it in the foreground. So if I put it on this one right here, I'd raise it up just a little bit to show that it is in the background. I'd add a little grass underneath that, and there you have that beautiful piece right there. I did it on this one, and that's probably exactly what I'm trying to show you in those other cards that I just pointed out to you. But I just added this. I added a little bit of our snow. It's absolutely adorable, and it just adds a beautiful accent. So remember, you can get the wreath, and I could have added a wreath to that to make it more holiday-ish, but you can leave it as a standalone also and use it for all year because people have lanterns up all year long. But isn't that beautiful? This die, along with the other ones, are in the shop. Now, what I did for this right here, you see these little wreaths right here? I took those and I used them as little sprays on the, can you see that? I used them as little sprays on the lantern. So another little thing that you can do is you can take and cut off the bottom of the lantern, and you can use it as, you know, a lantern that this little guy can hold right here, you see, and it could just dangle from there. Isn't that cute? We could put one of the little wobbles on it and it could actually wobble. Really a cute idea. So those are just some of the things that you can do with that lantern. So make sure you don't miss out on those. All right. And they are all in the shop. But we're going to work on this card today. I'm going to show you a couple of these snow making techniques. And if you want, you can take and watch the video of, it's just a short little cute video on all the different ways to make snow the Deb Valder way. All right. So let's take and grab some of our pieces. I'm going to grab this. Now, what I did with this die right here, I told you, is I cut this piece off right here. So I decided how high I wanted it, and then I cut this piece off right here. Okay, and then for this one, that's this little piece right here. All right, so I just took the two of them and made it into I just cut up the pieces. Now I'm going to do something a little bit different on this one also. Instead of doing a portrait, I'm going to do a landscape to show you how versatile this is. All right, so the first thing that I want to do is I want to take and spray my background, and I'm going to do that with my iridescent spray right here. So I'm just going to shake this up. I want to spray my trees, and I want to spray my background. I'm going to bring in just a scrap piece of paper and show you how I do this. It's so easy, and having this is it's a staple. It's a staple because I'm using it all the time in winter. So I just sprayed my trees and a little bit of the snow here, okay? And then I'm gonna spray my background right here, all right? So that just kind of gives it a shimmery look, all right? So that's done. I told you this is fast, 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 fast. And then what I'm gonna do is to take and, let's stamp our words on this little guy right here. So I'm gonna take my teaspoon of fun, and that's my ink, and we do have those in the shop. And instead of doing home is where your story begins, I'm going to do family, the heart of the holidays on this one. I just love both of these little sayings, and I think they lend themselves to the entire winter season. And actually, they could use them for any time of the year, but for this one, I'm just going to take and do it right here. Okay. It's just absolutely beautiful. All right, so I've got that and I've got that, and now I'm going to add this, but I'm going to take and I'm going to pop it up. So I'm going to bring in some of my, now because I've got quite a few layers, I don't want to use my fat, or what I call regular. I call them fat, people call them regular. I don't want to use my regular foam squares. I'm going to use my thin ones. All right, so for this one, I'm going to use my regular thin. We have fat, skinny, large, small, lots of different foam squares in the shop, so make sure you check them out. And like I said, when you're starting to do layer upon layer upon layer, you want to make sure that you don't use too many of the thick ones, or you're going to end up with extra postage. So literally, if I do 2 layers like I'm going to do here, that's popped and that's popped, it equals 1 layer, and you won't have to pay the extra postage. Always keep that in mind, and you'll save yourself some money. So I'm just going to take and pop this over here on the side, like that. Okay, and then, now watch, see this right here, if I put it on here, you're going to see that little lip. I could have trimmed it off, but this is where I'm going to put my, I'm going to take and I'm going to put my lantern there. So let me just find my lantern, and I'm going to lay it right here, okay, because that's going to go underneath my snowbank. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my for the top part of it, because remember, this we don't want popped, but this we do, otherwise it's going to go downhill. Does that make sense? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my thin black foam dots. Now a lot of people say I don't need black, I'm never going to use them. This is a case in point where you absolutely will. You definitely want black because they work so well on this right here. Do you see? Now if I had white, the white would be standing out like crazy. So I'm just going to take my black ones and I'm going to put them on the top part right here, so it is the same level as this right here. So this right here, I'll just take some of my adhesive, my liquid adhesive, add it to the bottom right down here. Okay, so that'll hold the bottom part of it. And just add this right here like this. Okay, so I've got my little foam squares here, which is the same depth as that right there. Okay, and now I'm just going to add this piece right here, and look, see, isn't that cool? So I'm going to take and add my white foam squares to this one. Remember, these are the thin ones. Actually, it's going to be a thick one because we're going up 2 layers. So I'm going to take my thick one, okay, and add it here. Take a little guy right here. And when you get a package of these, you get 1 sheet of these and you get 1 sheet of these, so you can mix and match, which is what I just did right there. All right, so I've got all of those, and that's just going to get added to this part right here. See how fast this is? Pretty cool, huh? Alrighty, so there's that. So pretty. Do you see the difference between the landscape and the portrait? It makes it look different, but still so very pretty. Alrighty, and we're going to add that to the back of this right here, remember? Okay, so let's do that right now. We're going to take, this is our card base, and that's going to be a landscaped card base. So I'm going to add my adhesive to that. There's that line right there. Okay, and then we're going to add this. To this layer right here. It's coming together so nicely, and it is very fast. Oh, and such a pretty card to give. And like I said, you don't have to use this for the holidays. You can use it for anything. So now what I have is these little guys right here. And like I said, I just punch out a whole bunch of them and have at it. So I'm going to take and I'm going to start with my dark one, and I'm going to use my liquid glue. And I'm just going to start adding them to my wreath, or to my my lamppost. All right, so you decide how round you want it, okay, how big you want it, and you can make it like really big, or you can make it small, which is what I want to do, because I want it to be, I want a lot of the lamppost to show. All right, so I'm going to go this. Now I'm just going to take some of this adhesive. Now, on the first one that I did with this one, I actually did it on a silicone mat, and that worked out really good. But I thought, you know what? I need to save a little bit of time, so I'm just going to do it right on my... Now, remember on this, you do have multiples of these, so you can make it as big or as thick as you want, or as skinny as you want. All right, so I'm going to go right here and overlap. And then I'm going to do a light green one, like that. And we've got our first layer. Okay, now you can adjust it, because remember, I'm just kind of making it round now. There we go, just like that. And now we're going to go with round 2. All right, and that just makes it more fluffy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of offset them. So this is a light green one. I'm going to add this right here. And so this one, I'm going to just kind of make it so it is a little bit fluffy. And that's why I'm only putting glue on the very ends of it also, is so that I can make it a little bit more dimensional. Okay. I don't want to put them right on top of one another, because if you do that, then it's just going to look like it's stacked. We want it to look like very ferny. Okay. I don't think that's a word, but it is in my case. Okay. So there's that one. Now we're just going to let that dry. All right. Put on. All right. So now what I need to do is to take my picker. All right. So we have pickers and we have pokers. This is a picker, and I'm going to take and use it to add adhesive to these. Okay, there's that one. All right, I'm going to take this, add the glue to it, and one more. All right, so I'm just going to add the glue to this right here and add my last one. Okay, so there's my... And you could add more around if you wanted to, but what I decided to do was to just do that part right there. Do you know what I forgot? I forgot to do the yellow around the outside of it. So what I'm going to do is very carefully take this up. And how could I have forgotten that? All right, very easy, very fast. I'm just going to take some of my Distressed Oxide ink, and this is Scattered Straw. I'm going to take one of my Tim Holtz little daubers right here. I'm going to just daub right there and then add this. I will add a little bit of lines to the outside of it like this, showing that it is glowing. Note to self, don't do it that way. Make sure you do that before you put it on, but it all came out good. Okay, there's never mistakes in stamping. You can always fix everything, and that's all I did right here. All right, so before we finish this card, you'll notice that I added some snow right here, and the way I did this was with our this is with our glitter accents, and I'm just going to take and I'm going to add some snow. So what I do is I just take a little line that goes all the way across here like this, and just add it nice and thick. And this stays thick. You'll notice in my video on snow making that I show you all the different ways. Now that's just kind of a straight line, but if you take a toothpick or if you take a straight pin and you just drag it down, you're going to get little, it's going to look like the snow is just, isn't that cool? It just looks like the snow is kind of dripping, and you can make them as big or as little as you want. And then when it dries nice and thick and it glistens, and it's just so cute. I'm going to add just a little bit more right here to make it a bigger point. Right there. Add a little bit more so I can add it, I can make it dangle a little bit longer. And this is the last thing that you want to do, because you do have to let it dry. All right, just like that. Isn't that awesome? So now we have our dripping snow off of the lantern. The next thing that I'm going to do is to add a little bit of accent to the hills and maybe make a few little snowballs. So by doing that, I don't want the thick snow, which is what I used here with our glitter accents. I just want some white blizzard, and that's going to give me just a little bit of snow coming down this part right here. And it just makes it look like it ties in with the snow that's over here. Okay, just like that. And then I'll just add a few little snowballs here, you know, like just a few little snowflakes around and about. And I can make these as big or as little as I want because I have the control of the sizes of them. All right, and now we are done. Isn't that such a pretty card? Now, the difference between these two right here, the accents actually make it stay chunky, and these will dry pretty flat, not totally flat, but as soon as the glue dries, it dries a little bit flatter. So that is really good to know. That's a good piece of information to know. But other than that, we have our cards done. They are absolutely gorgeous and so easy to make. Make sure that you subscribe to my blog or to my videos. Click on the little bell and you'll always get the next video that I do right off the bat. Hit the thumbs up on the button down below also, and if you liked this video, and then share it with your friends. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for stopping by. I just love bringing you this craftiness. Take care and have a great day.